Hey, this is Jim at RC4. Here is a DMX-IO, and this one, by the way, is the newly released Series 3.5. I'm going to use the 3.0 for all of these demos, most of these demos for these, but the functionality is the same. So let's have a look at how the user interface works for almost everything that is Series 3, and it is a series of buttons and LEDs. A button is always behind a slotted hole, and an LED indicator is always behind a round hole. So let's power this on and have a look, because we'll see some things light up. So there we go. Round holes are LEDs. So in the buttons, there are several different what I'll call layers of access. So the first one is buttons that do something when you power them up. So for instance, or when you power up the device. So for instance, I might hold this button while I apply power, and that sets ID 0. That's just an example of a power-up function. Another thing would be that I can just push a button while it's up and running, like we have here. So I call this running mode. So that same button now lets me toggle between auto mode, which automatically selects between transmit and receive, or I can force it to be a receiver, or I can force it to be a transmitter. Right now it's in auto mode, but if I tap this, then that does a little quick reset, and it's going to become a receiver. So that is the sort of direct first layer. And then there are a number of functions that I can do that are shift functions. So that means I can hold the shift key, and while it's down, I can push something else. And in this device, I can change RF power, as an example, if I do shift and tap that same button. So I can do shift, push this, and what I've just done is I've changed the speed of that red light, and the speed tells us the RF power. And then there's one more thing, and that is if I hold a button for a long time, I get a long hold feature. And there are not very many of these, but on all of the Series 3 RC4Magic devices, if I long hold the function button, it will, after several seconds, go into what we call dongle mode. And this is where it becomes an accessory for a PC, so you can use it with our PC software and communicate from software out to other devices. So that covers all the different layers. So remember those. There's the power-up functions, there's the regular running mode, there's the function buttons, which is like a shift version of the buttons, and then there's the long hold buttons. So throughout the rest of the demos, keep all of that in mind, the different layers of the button features.